Okay, we are back, YouTube. We're doing a upper day, or at least a part of an upper day. I'm splitting my split up a little bit differently, so we're gonna be doing torso today. And then tomorrow we're gonna be doing a limbs day. So I have a little bit of a unconventional split approach to this mesocycle, just to take a little bit of stress off of my elbows by basically having my volume surrounding my elbows for the mesocycle. So today we have essentially chest, back, and shoulders. So I'm going to start out with bench. Once again, I'm feeling a little stiff in the elbows. I think 4 is a good rep target to hit here. If I get 5, I'll be super stoked about that. But all right, let's get into it. This is our first working set. 2, 1. I'm gonna get to some Instagram questions. Hopefully you guys can hear me. They're blaring the music in here. So I'm gonna try to talk nice and loud. Let's see what we got. We got a bunch of questions. All right. How to tell what is causing recovery issues? I honestly don't think that there's a specific way to pinpoint what is causing it. And I also don't think there's actually anything that specifically causes recovery issues, because recovery is essentially under recovery is doing too much. So realistically, everything in combination is what's causing under recovery. So I would say slightly backing off or finding better ways to recover, which is rehydration, replenishment of glycogen, and rest. Is it better to reschedule training after poor sleep or power through? I don't think it matters. If you have such bad sleep or you feel so shitty that you feel you can't really push yourself or go hard, then maybe skip. But honestly, just do the training session. A shitty training session is better than not training. But you have to also realize, like, one training session means nothing. It's the unfortunate and also fortunate truth. Like, if you miss a week of training, it's not a big deal. If you have one great workout, it also doesn't do anything, because one training, a handful of training sessions don't do anything. Adaptations take so long that realistically it doesn't really matter. All right, let's hit this set. I did 365 for 4, so I think 335 for 7, maybe 6 is the goal here. 1. Oh. All right, let's knock out a couple more questions. Do I do any striking Muay Thai or just bodybuilding and jiu-jitsu? I trained Muay Thai for a while, back when I was in Arizona in college. Once I moved to Austin and was pursuing jiu-jitsu professionally, I stopped doing Muay Thai. I'll probably pick it up soon again, because I'm less serious about jiu-jitsu right now, and striking's fun. What kind of music helps you get in the right headspace before a match? So specifically for a match, like jiu-jitsu, I think something that gets you motivated and in the zone, which I know is not exactly answering your question, but without overhyping you. Like something that like makes you go crazy and lose your mind and almost go super adrenaline like spike I don't think is a particularly good thing. I don't think it's very useful. So I would say find something that gets you, ready to go and moving around, but not something that's going to literally amp you out of your mind. How many sets a week for biceps and triceps? Is it the same as any other muscle group? It's the same. How do you balance your intense lifestyle? Well, luckily right now I do this as a job, so it's a lot easier. Back when I was in college, it's definitely a lot harder. Time management is super important. Scheduling out your time and making sure you're blocking out periods of time, or like, I am going to go do this thing, and going and doing it. So time management is huge when you have a bunch of things on your plate. Right now, I don't have as much. Wow, the music's really loud in here now. All right, let's knock this set out. So we did 2 presses, on the bench press. So I'll probably do 2 more here, and then 1 or 2 with some sort of pec deck or cable fly. I'm trying to find the happy medium also where my pressing continues to progress without being overly irritating to my elbows, like I was discussing before. And I think somewhere in the 5 to 6 sets, working sets for chest, specifically maybe only 3 or 4 sets for pressing, is kind of the sweet spot. Especially returning to jiu-jitsu, very isometrically demanding of the elbows, right? We're holding gable grips and body locks and things like that, and that's going to be demanding on the elbow. All right, let me grab my straps, or my wrist straps. All right, best exercises and stretches for a Taekwondo martial artist. So, I mean, man, this isn't even specific to Taekwondo. Just think about what are the muscles that I use in my sport, which is your whole body, and then get your whole body stronger. And then specifically stretches, I would get mobile, or if you want to do static stretching, that's fine. Lots of martial artists do that. But then get as much range of motion as you can in the muscles that are required for you to do, let's say, for your kicks. So that would be the hamstrings, the glutes, the adductors, the abductors. So getting mobile for your sport. You know, what are the best exercises? There aren't. Just get strong. Big guy training tips to improve jiu-jitsu. Maybe so good guard options for big guys. I think if you're a larger guy, probably my best recommendation is butterfly half guard. I think it provides all the benefits of a half guard or a knee shield half guard with the ability to enter the legs. I think there's a lot of big guys who play butterfly half guard at a high level, and then secondarily to that is K guard. Cardio endurance conditioning programming, keep up the good work. Oh, thank you. If I can't pass guard, should I just heel hook the shit out of them? Yeah, man, that seems like a good option. That seems like a good option. I think we did 6 our first set, so 5 would be dope. All right, let's talk CNS fatigue and fatigue in general. So I just did pretty heavy bench, 365 for 4, then 335 for 7. Then I went over and did incline pressing, 3 plates each side for 7 reps, and then 5 reps. And I'm totally fresh right now in the sense of I could go play my sport very intense. Oh, you're good. I don't give a shit. You're good. I could go play my sport right now very intensely, train hard as shit. Now, let's walk this back and compare. If I went over and did bench for 15 reps, 20 reps for 2 sets of those, maybe even 3 or 4. Same thing with incline bench. How much more tired, you're fine, how much more tired would I actually be? I'd have a crazy chest pump. I would be far more fatigued. I would be tired, sweating. And to some people, that seems like, yeah, why aren't you working hard? Well, the thing is I got the same results from doing less. And I can go practice my sport. So ask yourself this. Is your results from your training what's important to you? Or is it coming in here and feeling like you worked hard? All right. When do you like to use a belt? I get that similar to straps, but I don't want to overuse it. Man, I don't think you can overuse a belt. Just, yeah, it's like straps. It doesn't really matter that much. In fact, you're technically, if we want to talk about this from a technical perspective, you're going to get more abdominal engagement when you wear a belt because you have something to press against. I don't think that a belt is bad. There may be some instances of people leveraging or using a belt as a crutch because they don't know how to brace. As long as you know how to brace, a belt isn't bad. Use it when you want. Let me start from the bottom because we have a lot of these and I'm losing my... Okay, here's a good question. I get this a lot. Heavy duty Mike Menser. I think Mike Menser had a great idea when it came to training, that train hard and you need less sets than the typical person might think. You don't need to come in and crush yourself every workout for the sake of volume. But I think what he got really wrong is frequency. Frequency is super important when it comes to progression. Frequency is probably the most important thing. If you do one working set 3 times a week, that's better than 3 working sets 1 time per week. And I know obviously that's a bad example when we talk about the actual full layout of a training program, but that gives you an idea that if you spread out those exercise or spread out those sets across the week, it's far more impactful than doing it 1 day per week. How many grams of fat do you eat per day? Right now I'm averaging around 70. I'm going to drop that down into the 50s here soon as I get deeper into like this mini cut. How to grow your social media account? Post valuable content every single day. Am I rolling too much if I'm too sore to work out the next day? For sure, yes. You should not be too sore to work out the next day. That's a problem. How often should I roll? It's individual. Some people are more adapted to training. Some people have been doing jiu-jitsu their whole lives and they can train 3 times a day. If you started jiu-jitsu at 26 years old, there's no way you're gonna be training 3 times a day like a 12-year-old did. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Like, if you grew up playing a sport, your body is more adapted to doing it. Emergency alert. Flash flood. A lot of dudes you could throw into space talking shit for some reason. Yeah, man, I mean, this is the nature of Instagram, right? It's like, it's very easy to post comments online, but then like people see me in person, they go, holy shit, you're bigger in person. So I understand the ease of talking shit online, but sometimes you get caught. Like this one dude, you know, it's like, you live in my city, dude, what are you doing? So I get it, you know. I think there's like a famous Twitter thing that somebody told what was his name? Paul Felder. They were like, you're a pussy, or was something like that. And Paul Felder goes, you would never say that to me in person. And the guy goes, yeah, I know, that's why I said it online. It's like he's consciously aware of that, making a joke about it, but some people are unconsciously unaware of that, which is hilarious. Sure. Sure. Okay, so it's been a minute since we put the weighted pull-ups back in our mesocycle, but I really want to start prioritizing these again. I kind of fell off doing them. I'm gonna go pretty heavy today. I'm doing 90 extra pounds. If I get this for 3, I'll be happy. This is more to just kind of prime me to hit a little bit less of a weight for a couple more reps. Sometimes I like going a little bit heavier and slightly out of the rep range just to kind of get my body reacclimated to the movement and make the second set a little easier mentally. A little like perceived effort trick. So like I said, 3 would be dope. Why do people want to believe functional fascia gurus instead of sensible development of athletic qualities? I think that it comes from 2 things. One, there is an association between lifting weights and being unintelligent. And they think that if you are big and strong, you are therefore stupid. And 2, it's hard. It's really difficult to progress for years and years and years. And so this shortcut route of there's a smarter, better, secret option is really enticing to people that have never really fallen in line with go in the gym and train and get stronger over time mentality that seems very meatheadish. Next jiu-jitsu match, I'm guessing not for at least 2 months, probably. I've only been back to training for about 2 weeks. I had three knee surgeries over the last 12 months, so I'm not in any rush to get back. And I'm good on like IBJJF points. Medaling at World sent me up into a position where my seating is literally as good as it possibly can be. So I don't necessarily need to do like IBJJF opens. I can't even say the word, but I don't need to go out there and do all the Texas opens. All right, first set was plus 90 pounds. Now we're doing a 45 and a 25. So what is that? 50, 70 pounds. All right, I'm going to try to finish up some of these questions before I get to my last couple exercises here. Do you use a belt for deadlifts? I do for my top set. I don't think it's necessary. Sometimes I just forget the belt and I just deadlift. I don't think it's necessary. I think you can move more weight with the belt. It gives you something to brace against, making your body more rigid and therefore more stable and having a better lever to lift more weight. So I think you should use a belt. Can you talk how you prepare for a tournament physically and mentally? I prepare for a tournament in the same way that I would prepare for or just train normally, right? I'm always trying to get better, improve my skills while simultaneously strengthening my body. And I think that overthinking the tournament or match is a mistake. I would approach it like anything else. Like if a visitor popped into my gym to train and I would try to beat his ass like I would in a match. Not in the same intensity, right? But in the same way that rolling with somebody that you don't know is a little bit nerve wracking, kind of approach it with the same mentality of in a match, right? Like, it's just a dude. I'm doing jiu-jitsu against him. I'm going to implement my game and do my very best. I think overthinking it past that is a mistake. How do you recover from jiu-jitsu and gym? The 3 R's: rehydration, replenishment of glycogen, and rest. People need to talk more about the disgusting jiu-jitsu culture. I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to. Maybe it's the fact that jiu-jitsu has a weird culture around it. I don't necessarily think it's disgusting. Are you opposed to doing 6 to 8 full body exercises per session instead of 10? I have no idea what you're talking about here. But when did I ever recommend doing 10 exercises a session? That's weird. I would watch my video on programming. It's pinned on my Instagram page. Best body weight exercise for combat athletes doesn't exist. Do everything. Cardio, endurance, conditioning program. Oh, I already got to that one. Things white belts should stop doing. Quitting. Brazilian follower, I'm guessing. Please teach exercise for rotational strength. Yeah, I think medicine ball throws for plyometrics. Cable oblique rotations is a great one as well. And you could use the landmine. I just think the cable's a little bit superior. All right, let's hit this. So we're doing seated rows. I think this machine's honestly really challenging, which is why I like it. And last time I talked about this, I got a lot of, not hate, but a lot of people thought it was like controversial for me to say like, hey, I already did, let's say deadlifts yesterday. I don't need to go do barbell rows. I can just sit in this little machine, take some pressure off my spine, my spinal erectors and low back, and just do a machine row. There's no benefit to going and doing barbell rows over seated rows. All right, let's hit this. Cool. All right, we lowered the weight a little bit. That last set, I felt like I was a little bit losing the plot here of the exercise. So I dropped it by like 20 pounds. Do a little bit more reps. Sa, ha, so, so, all right, last exercise. Oh, last exercise, last set of the day. We are going to do, what is this, 3 plates for however many I can get. I'm going to lower this seat down a little bit. And we are going to get out of here. Because I'm tired. Not tired in the sense of like I'm smoked. But I've reached that point in the session where I'm like, is anything extra going to do anything for me? And the answer is probably not. If we assume that we only have around 10 to 12 effective sets in a workout, I did 6 chest sets and I did 4 back sets. So we're at 10. So I'm going to do 1 here. Call it a day. Do I think that you can get more? Do I think that that's applicable to every single person, that they can only do 10 to 12 effective sets in a workout? No. But it's a good rule of thumb. Okay.